my stomach's growling though. Like I hope you guys can't hear
Has
it.
some chips.
Yes. Oh no, I thought you said could you. I was like, sure.
No.
Me, no. I have spilled on myself during many a commercial break. So now I wait until the show's over.
3, 2.
Welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Don Jorge, January the 28th, and chipsters and chipsteras, welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show on your Tuesday. And we have a couple of good guests here, and it's a fantastic day. The weather is a little cloudy, but it's beautiful outside. So this is Don Jorge and Doña Cheryl Rosado.
Hi, I'm here today with some great guests. We're very excited to be chatting all about last weekend. AZGOP had their big state meeting. It means everyone from all over the state came and we voted on leadership. We voted on bylaws. We did we vote on we voted on resolutions?
There was one, yeah.
And members at large. So it was very good, very exciting. But before we jump into all that, I want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Pure 5 Extraction, who generously provides us with so much support. We want to thank them. We want to thank Canaloo Air and all they've done for us. We have AZ Injection Perfection, who, I'm not going to lie, I have Botox with them. So love the Botox. If anyone's interested in that, we can hook you up. I know she has it on sale right now for $9 a unit. And then we have National Automotive Repair, and they are located over there on, the 17 and like Thunderbird. And then our last sponsor is One Team, One Dream Foundation. And just thank you to all of them. So because of their generosity and support, we're able to be here, have programs like this where we can talk about our state convention. This is my credential from the convention. I walked away from it with it, even though they might have wanted it back, but I kept mine as a memento of surviving the day. And so it was very exciting. And we have today, our guests are Bob Gomez, who was the mastermind behind the meeting. He was on the planning committee there. And were you like the chair? Was that your title?
Chair, guy who's going to get thrown out the door if it doesn't come off right. Whatever.
The jack of all trades, master of none.
Scapegoat.
Scapegoat extraordinaire. Yes. And then we have a newly elected CD1 member at large, Mark Beach.
Hello, everybody.
So Mark is here too to chat with us about that meeting, the good, if there was any ugly, if there was any bad, we want to hear it all. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And just, even though you weren't up for election, congratulations to you too, because it was a very successful meeting.
Yeah,
it really was.
He did a very good job. He did the Lincoln dinner, and you did a great job for that too. It was fantastic, and that's why they chose you, because you are good at organizing. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much.
It looks like you have a lane. Yeah.
Every event.
You've been pigeonholed
into the event.
I hope you enjoy doing it, because now it's your thing.
It is your thing. Wait, we got a meeting. Bob.
Bob, he's going to organize it. So when did you get tapped to do that, Bob?
Boy, that was like 2.5 weeks before the event.
Wow. Okay.
So Gina Svoboda reached out and said, we need you. And I said, sure, happy to volunteer and help. What do you want me to do? You want me to,
everything.
What needs to be done?
You want me to put together little lanyards? I can do that. And she said, no, I need you to run the entire event.
Wow.
Because they were all in Washington. A lot of them were in Washington.
Right.
She was back and forth in Washington, a lot of meetings.
That's
very
funny.
true.
That was
something big was going on there.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what.
Golden age of America.
I would say they were organizing something over there too, weren't they?
Yeah.
a little bit.
Little bit.
Yeah.
4 years in the planning and the making.
Right.
Before that we were able to execute that. But
doesn't the air just smell fresher now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
lot
feels
better,
good.
A lot better. He did clear. He's clearing the air all right.
I also heard that they did say that it was moved inside due to credible security threats. So I know, because there was like, oh, was it the weather or not? And they said no, it was a security threat. So
well, I for one was very happy
so,
it was indoors, because I was there and standing in line to get in to the indoor of the arena. It was 20 degrees, so to stand out there all day in 20 degrees. I was happy to be indoors.
So you were there too, but you still did this thing.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was working while I was standing in line to get in to see the president. I
That's
was
how you
on the phone
spent your time.
putting together the event.
Oh, you're good at multitasking. There.
He's talented.
That's good.
Yes.
No.
Well, and us Arizona guys, we're kind of thin-blooded, so
Very.
that 20 is like minus 20 to normal folks, right?
Right. Like
Yeah.
when I'm complaining because it's 70 degrees, I'm like, you don't understand, though. It's not supposed to be that cold.
I see a bunch of eagles
So-
over here. What is it? They're
Oh,
coming
yes.
indoors too? Or what?
Yes, we have. I asked Bob to bring his award. Bob was given an award at the meeting by Chair Swoboda. Can you read the description on yours, Bob, for me?
It says AZGOP 2024 Volunteer of the Year. Now, there are many, many volunteers. I'm not sure that I'm worthy, but I was very grateful to receive
Not
this
worthy.
award.
That's nice. It's a nice eagle.
It's beautiful.
You got a volunteer one too?
Yeah.
Mine was, well, I guess we're all volunteers in a way. Mine is, I got an Eagle Award, AZGOP Team Spirit 2024, Engaging and Energizing the AZGOP.
Ooh,
So
Team
that was
Spirit.
I was very, very touched to get that and be recognized. You don't, I'm preaching to the choir here, but you don't do it for accolades.
Right.
But to be recognized, it does make you feel like I'm not spinning my wheels here. Somebody sees we are doing something. It
What's
was
that
very
bottom one say?
the bottom one.
Which one?
Up your microphone.
Oh, that one.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Bob has all the awards today that he's
got
going to
all
share
the-
with us.
All the
Is
things.
this the Bob Show?
Yes,
This is the Bob Show.
it's not chips and salsa anymore.
And I'm one. I don't. I'd rather be the guy who is giving the awards and not necessarily receiving
Could you
them.
show
But
it to
this was put in by Debbie Lesko before she left office, and it is noted that the House of Representatives is honoring Bob Gomez, and I have been inducted into my awards in the.
a special club?
Congressional record.
Thank you, congressional record.
I knew where you were going.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Well, congratulations on both of your awards.
Yes.
And that one from Debbie
and,
Lesko.
and that's for the work done in Legislative District 3, which was chairman of Legislative District 3 for 2 years,
Under
Oh,
siege.
okay.
under siege
Yes.
at
The
all
entire
times.
time.
Yes.
The entire time.
Yep.
And continues
I was just
to
going to say, and it was
be.
conflict-free time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see, survived. Let's see. We have 2 lawsuits against us trying to take over,
Well,
someone
that's
trying
good.
to take
That's
over
good. That's
power.
a nice
Yeah.
recognition. Congratulations on that.
He
and
deserves it
thank
for
you,
sure.
Debbie Lesko,
you.
for recognizing you.
Right.
Yep.
And,
I do
very
appreciate
appreciative.
that.
You know, and that,
It was a
that's
very big
good.
surprise, and I appreciate it.
How long were you chairman?
2 years.
2 years?
Just under 2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
How long did it feel like?
5 years. 6 years.
I was chair for 2 years. How much did I age, though? That was the
Right,
question.
right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, I was.
These bags weren't here before.
Well, when I was chairman for 4 years, my hair was black. Now it's white. But now I'm first vice chair, but I was vice chair before. I was chairman. Then I was chairman for 4 years, and then I became vice
vice
chair,
chair.
and then again vice chair, and then I became just a regular PC state committeeman PC. But you get the white hair after a few years. But
Mark's also first vice chair of his LD. You were in
LD
LD2.
too. Yes.
How long have you been first vice chair?
So I'm in my second term.
This is your second term.
second
So,
term.
yep.
That's good.
Yep. I enjoy being the oil in the gears. That's my jam.
So
It's
do
just
you
kinda-
attend the MCRC meeting too?
Yeah, he was
I-
at the last one, right?
Yep.
Because I would say I attended for our chair at the last one, and you were there for your chair. So we sat
Right.
next to each other.
I
We did.
attend just out of curiosity. I told Steve whether he's there or not, I'll attend the MCRC meetings just to keep updated. So
Sure.
if he forgets to mention something, I could bring it up.
Yeah, our chair is on the Deer Valley School Board, so sometimes a lot of times
The
there's
meeting,
conflict
Yeah.
because that meeting is also on a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
So about half of the meetings, I think I'm there.
Yeah.
In the beautiful building that MCRC has, what a great location that is.
Yep.
It's amazing, and the
Yep.
job that Craig and Shelby and the team have all done. It's first class. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
If you're involved with the Republican Party with the old building, right? It was a bunker.
The AZGOP building.
Yeah, the AZGOP building with the little side, hut that was the MCRC. There was a side, I go back to the 80s being involved in the party. So back then, it was that little building on 24th Street and
you guys
everything got done there.
Had an office that was way in the back.
Yeah. The MCRC was right next door.
The amazing thing is Craig Berlin getting that whole building donated.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the use of it donated for the Maricopa County.
Now this one,
party.
It's no surprise. I was not surprised that he was reelected so handily because of that, because I felt like he just had done such great work.
Yes.
And people could really see what he had done for the party. And the same, I wasn't surprised for Chair Swoboda, which we haven't even mentioned who won, really, except for Mark. Yeah. But Chair Swoboda was reelected, and Nikki Kelly, who she was on the show when she ran for superintendent, so she was a friend of the show as well, and she won for secretary. And then Ron Gould won for treasurer.
And he's very good. I like.
I did meet him afterwards when we were all being sworn in, and he's a very nice man. I really did like him. So I'm very excited to be working with all of them and all of the new members at large. I was reelected. Jeremiah was reelected. So we're very excited to be, again, working on this. But that, because I was member at large previously, I did see the last 2 years where we had the DeWitt year and then we had the Swoboda year. And, it was financially just pretty rickety.
Right. Yeah.
Starting last year when Swoboda took over, and she did just a phenomenal job of really flipping the script, changing so much. She downsized a lot of, anything that she could and took it on herself personally.
Right.
So again, I wasn't surprised that she won.
And, to make those kinds of drastic changes that have to happen when, the ship isn't right, people's toes are going to get stepped on. And you hear a lot of static, and usually it's the toes that got stepped on, right, in order to right the ship. But part of the problem sometimes is people don't realize this is about a bigger picture here than just self-interest. And if you don't have a servant's heart, if you don't want to just, no ego in this, just work for the common goal, then those people in politics stink to me. I don't like that at all. And so I'm very happy Gina got reelected. She deserved it. She put the fire out, and Trump won by almost 6 points in Arizona, 6%.
I don't remember if it was at XCOM or at the meeting, but that was the largest swing of any of the swing states. So did she say that at the meeting?
I think she might have.
Okay, because I know she said it, but I couldn't remember which day it was. And that's a big deal, and she should be really proud of that. Yeah. And so, and that's why I think if you are trying to unseat an incumbent, you need to let us know where they went wrong. Right. And she's not perfect. She made some choices that I was in hindsight, but at the moment I didn't know, is this right or not? I'm not sure. And she did her best. I believe that. And I do believe that she prayerfully considered her options when she had them. And so I just think that, she did a great job. And so for that, it would have been very difficult for anyone to defeat her.
Yeah.
Well, the saying in sports, the winner wants the ball, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, she got up there. The first thing she said at her speech, do you remember?
What?
The chair has one job, and that's to win. Winners want the ball, period. And so I realized she probably stepped on some toes, like I said, but it was to win, not to be.
Do they get to keep the funds that they generate for the 2 years, or because they're nonprofit? Because she's mentioned something about nonprofit. I thought I heard her say that they had to go down to zero, or do they keep a...
No, the funds roll over if it's not from
because I know
the previous
Trump
year.
donated $10 million. They collected $10 million, so they had $20 million.
Right.
And that's how they were
Yeah,
able to get out the vote.
I want to say we
Right.
raised. I want to say it was just over 21 million total. They gave us a bunch of the numbers at the executive committee meeting, and some of it 10 million. Trump, he could have given it to his, campaign in Arizona.
Right.
But he trusted Swoboda and he gave that money to AZGOP. And I know a lot of people are like, there was a lot of that voter contact was mailers. Well, you know what? Trump likes mailers and Trump wanted mailers and it's his money. You know what I mean? And I know she said how he really liked the what was it, the like Chick-fil-A inspired sign. She said that sign was literally only up for a very, very short amount of time. Like maybe I think a week or something. It was up for just hardly any time because they didn't spend a lot of money on it. So they only bought a little bit of time, but it went viral. And she said that the campaign loved it. So, those are the wins that we're talking about. She had people talking. And
Right.
That's
like the drug dealers for Harris,
right?
and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
I want to say
Those
she
were
said Vance
great.
liked that one a lot.
Yeah, those were really good.
Yeah, and they were thought provoking and they got your attention and quickly because the sign that has too much verbiage, too busy. No,
Yeah,
it was a snap thing. It was just spot on. Chef's kiss to those, definitely.
I've gotten to know her better through these past couple of weeks, and she was headed to some place where she was going to set up a table to have her flyers, as running for chair and whatnot. And her husband was unloading these boxes, 2 brand new boxes of a table and some chairs. And I said, Gina, why is he unloading brand new stuff? We've got some in here. She says, integrity. I'm not going to use AZGOP supplies, i.e. a table, for my campaigning.
Right.
I have to do I mean, would anybody else do that?
You would have to have really thought
Nobody
of
would
it.
ever know.
Because I wouldn't have thought
I
should do this.
Right.
And I'm not trying to steal supplies from anything. It's just I don't know that I would have even thought of that. You know what I mean?
It's just for a 2-hour event, putting out a tape. But her integrity.
She's conscientious.
Said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have my own items. I'll use my own table. And so I donated a table so that she could take the one she bought back. I had a personal table. I'll let you use mine. But
there you go.
Great integrity from even though you sometimes will hear otherwise from people who try to bash people like Gina, and I've seen nothing but a very woman with hardworking. I would text her at 12:30 at night. She responded.
Right.
I would text her at 4:30 a.m. She responded.
Yeah, I would say I've gotten texts from her at 6 a.m. and I put my phone on vibrate, so you could text me anytime. Doesn't matter. It's not going to wake me up.
Yeah.
But she would say sorry for the early morning text, but she doesn't want to forget. You got to do it right when you think about it. You're going to forget because you got 1,000 things on your mind.
Right.
And so yes, I've definitely gotten super early morning texts from her. To, answering a inquiry that I had or helping out with the problem or something like that, asking me to run the volunteer table, which was super fun. I totally hope I get tapped to do that again, even though it was 6:30. I spent the night at an Airbnb with the TARs, and some of those TARs were running around, I think, playing tag. I don't know what they were doing. It was a huge Airbnb. It had slept 16 or something like that, and they were running around till 1 a.m. and I was thinking to myself, I gotta be there at 6:30, and so that's gonna come awfully soon. And it did, and it was dark, and I was surprised that the parking lot was super full at
the prayer
They
meeting.
had a prayer meeting that day.
Okay. Because I was thinking I'm gonna get a great parking spot.
Yeah.
I did not. I had an okay parking spot. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't great like I was expecting. I really thought it would be deserted in the morning, but it's pretty busy.
I want to make mention of, if you felt the meeting went well, it was only because we did everything as close to the way it was done at the MCRC meeting 2 weeks prior. So I had some of my team following some of the MCRC people.
Their best practices.
And they did such an excellent job of planning. We decided, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
Let's follow some of those. We tweaked a few things that maybe didn't go quite as it planned, and so we really have to give credit to all those at the MCRC
Greg Dutton,
who put on that. Greg Dutton, who was the leader of that.
Like I told you, the registration outside was fantastic. Yeah. That cut all that clutter that you normally see on the inside, where people are running into each other because they got LDs over here, and on the other side they got LDs, and people are saying, "Where's my LD?" And they're running from one side to the other side, and it's like cross traffic, and it's really bad when you're credentialing. They had it outside. They had it really organized outside with the signs. You couldn't get any better because the signs were so specific, LD 22 or, was right here. LD 21 was right here. And on the line, they even had lines on the ground. Like,
yeah.
It was like
I will say,
really
I
good.
did have someone with a great suggestion. One of the PCs from ILD, Jamie, I'm going to pass along your idea. She said, if we could ask Mr. Schweikert, could we hit that coffee outside? Because they don't let us in and it's cold.
Yeah, in the previous years, he always had the coffee outside.
Yeah.
So I don't know who to pass that tip on to, but she did pass it along to me. And I was like, I will.
And it's out in the ether
yes,
now.
I will.
Well, they could have it in
hash
both
brown
places.
send it to the internet.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Have one set up here and then have one inside. So when the people get inside, he has his the coffee over there. So it's like, that's a good idea.
It is a good
Well,
idea.
it wasn't
I could've used a
mine.
cup of coffee
It was
out there.
Jamie's.
so cold.
Or hot cocoa or both. Yeah.
Right.
Or hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa. I'd be down
Right.
for some hot
That's
cocoa.
what I'm saying.
Yes. Especially because the coffee was free, and I know that some of the TARs partook, and there was my daughter, yes, and she had 2 cups, and she typically will drink a coffee at church, the decaf, and this was not decaf. So she told me, "Mama,
Welcome to caffeine.
Exactly. And I was like, I did not give you permission to drink coffee. And she had it at church, so she just assumed it would be fine.
It's got to all be the same.
Just so everybody knows, this is at Dream City Church. They're such a good provider for our conventions.
Yes.
And for other things that they have for the GOP.
But if we had to move it to AZ Grand, I wouldn't be mad.
It wouldn't break your heart.
I wouldn't. Yes, that would be. I just felt like the state convention that we just had. What was that? Last April.
Delegate. Yeah.
The state convention was just really, really good because of. I know that we didn't have sort of like, is it stadium style seating in the church, in the sanctuary?
Yeah,
it is, huh?
it is.
Yeah.
So it was flat. So that is a little different, but it was just really nice to have like in those banquet halls are huge, and they're a little more conducive to breaking into caucus and trying to sit by your LD or whatever. I felt like that would be so. Just saying.
The wigwam would be good too.
Expensive.
Except that's not
it's
as
such
close
a
to my house.
Huge expense.
Right.
All of these meetings are a huge expense.
Yeah, they are. So let's put a pin in that. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. Do you know how to take a break? No. Okay. So we're not going to take a break. In just a minute we will. But those meetings are super expensive, and I know that for Chair Berlin, he said that even though typically there's like a lot of money owed after, and I know MCRC was in a really good spot even after paying for that meeting.
Right.
So that's really, really nice. But when are we going to go into break? Okay.
just keep
So we're
going.
going to go and break in a little minute. But
No break for you.
no
You
break
know,
for me.
no break.
Not today.
The money is a huge.
Yeah, that's a
deal.
huge
So
factor.
We raised about $45,000, I think it was, for the Lincoln Day lunch, which is a fundraiser. So that helps to fund the meetings, right?
Right.
Right.
And then I know Chair Swoboda, she spends a huge amount of her time raising money.
Right. And I know, so the state convention was originally supposed to be at Dream City Church. That's what Chair DeWitt had planned, and he had given a down payment. And Chair Swoboda felt that like we need to break into caucus, and it wasn't that she moved it to Arizona Grand, but we had already given our deposit. So she did check with Dream City to make sure that we could sort of use that deposit towards this state meeting. So I know, so basically that deposit had been paid kind of early because it was originally for the state convention. Right. Yep. But yeah, I know Chair Swoboda has just been fundraising very much. And we had, a lot of small donors. And I don't think it's quite as many as like Kelly Ward had, but it's definitely more than we had in 2023. So
I think that both chairs and probably for any of the counties could probably use additional help in raising funds. I mean, everything that we do is costs money. Mm-hmm. The law fair is very expensive, right? And we have to do it because the Democrats will do it. Mm-hmm. So probably some effort needs to go into maybe forming, especially with the new malls and all that, maybe fundraising initiatives and that sort of thing.
Maybe we could try and get together a mall fundraiser, like just, you know what I mean? Something that that we just do, you know what I mean? And we could work on that.
Bring it in. Yeah. Because, one thing that the party did this time too, the AZGOP, was it helped with the legislative races, and we picked up seats in the House and the Senate because of that. Mm-hmm. And, usually they're pretty focused on other things, and the legislative races kind of just, linger out there. But the more the party has to be able to put where it's needed, the better it is.
Right. I think. And nobody's coming to save us. So like we can't say like, oh well, hopefully the RNC will send us money. Oh well, hopefully no, we need to fundraise ourselves. Yep, so then we're not like waiting and hoping, and we're independent. We did this. We did this.
Right. Before we go to a break.
Yes.
May I recognize people?
I would love to have you do it.
Very hard on the GOP event. So the person who was in charge of all the setup, I put him on that team. Did an outstanding job of from the tape on the ground to the signage and all that sort of thing. Phil Ellsworth just put a ton of time. We have detailed drawings and detailed pictures of how things should be done. So I want to recognize Phil Ellsworth. His wife ran all of credentialing, Susan Ellsworth, and Susan has been there. I came in 2.5 weeks, and she's been there every day, probably 10, 12, 15-hour days every day throughout that whole.
Yeah, when I needed help at the volunteer table, she was right there to let me know, this person, yes, that's okay, do this, blah, 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 because I was like, I don't know.
Outstanding. Mm-hmm. Helping Phil, by the way, was Nathan Jackson. You might have worked with him
love
in
Nate.
this. And Nate, he helped us with, just yesterday we were putting signs in elevators and putting them back at the AZGOP. So a lot of manual labor. Michelle Masters handled all the proxy side of things. So if you brought a proxy, her team did all of that. We had Lisa Green out of one of the counties. It was a big help with credentialing. We had John Nani, who you probably see people in yellow vests during the day. Those green vests, those were not crossing guards.
The ushers.
Those were our ushers, and they were our information people that you could ask questions of. So Joe Boncher, John Nani, Christina Kidd helped.
She was fantastic.
Christina,
she was fantastic.
She did. Man, I know why Gina has her at her side. She is outstanding. A great help. Stacy Goodman, all of security. She was in charge of all of that, and of course Carrie Hughes, who's a sergeant at arms, was part of that whole thing. Patty Porter. She's
always
so
a rock
quiet,
star.
So shy.
Oh yes,
so quiet.
Shrinking violet, right?
She's always on fire. Patty's on fire. She's great. Carol Ayat. She did everything for the MCRC. Came to me and said, "How can I help? I'll tell you how we did it.
Aww.
We'll get you through the whole thing." So Carol was a great help. Every piece of paper that got printed, pretty much the check-in sheets, the credentialing cards, and all that was all done by Carol Torco. Carol happened to be my secretary while I was chair, and she always kept me in line. She could help. She made sure I crossed my T's and dotted my I's. So great help. Shelby Bush ran all of tally. So the tally team tallied quick. I mean, they had the votes.
They were fast.
They were
very fast.
I had a couple friends on the tally team, and they were like, we would get the ballots, and 25 minutes later, we were done. We were okay, we finished.
Some of the
the
tally people were fighting to get more ballots to count because they were sitting there
so fast.
They were so fast.
And that is a testament to, I mean, I know that like RLD has done it throughout the year, but I mean, we did it last year at the county for the first time.
Yeah.
And then they did it at the state meeting. And then of course, but it hasn't been around that long, and how quickly people take to it. It's so intuitive. So yes, big props to Shelby.
Yes.
Chris Morrissey, who's in the GOP office, helped me a lot. She was kind of a right-hand person a lot of the times. And then Tony Peters, he was day of event. Tony came a few days before the event and said, "What do you need?" I said, "I just need you to be right next to me. If I need something, I need you. I need to send you." So Tony Peters helped out a great deal. So anyway, those are some really hard workers.
I think some of the shout outs really, like I said, as somebody who was on the last XCOM, really solidifies the difference when Sheriff Swoboda came, how MCRC and AZGOP so integrated.
Just felt so different. Yeah.
Yes. It's just such a different vibe between them. And like, as someone who was, obviously part of MCRC and part of AZGOP, like, it was kind of awkward in 2023 sometimes. And so this was just absolutely just the kind of teamwork that you want to see. And I mean, I don't know how the other counties work with AZGOP because I'm not there. I'm not saying that they don't work well. It's just, as the largest county, it's nice to have so much harmonious cooperation. I'm not going to use the U word, but harmonious cooperation between us. That's what I want to see.
I want to thank a lot of the counties. There are a number of folks that came up from the counties. A lot of them are pretty far away, so it's understandable it's not easy to volunteer, but there are actually many that did come up and volunteer and help us out as well. And I was very fortunate to have developed really great relationships with my counterparts as chairs while I was chair, and we worked well together. Mark was probably one of the worst ones. But no, just kidding. Mark was always, I never heard Mark say no. If I asked for something, asked for help, he said, "Yeah, I'll get that to you. I'm still working right now, but I'll get it to you by the end of the day," or whatever. Just a great team to work with. I couldn't have done this without everybody's help. And part of that were my counterparts at the MCRC. So
awesome.
There you go. I think I thanked everybody. I wanted to make sure I thanked everybody.
And if we forgot anyone, we're sorry, because we do appreciate everybody in their help.
Do they use the same building that they have on Central still? Or
yes, we have
they're still there.
Unfortunately,
it's up for sale.
If you're interested,
if you would like to,
we are thinking about trying to sell. I think like half of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess it has like two. You could sell it in two pieces, but I know last year when we voted to put it up for sale, we were like, well, we don't want to keep any of it. Let's sell it. But since that hasn't worked, they were saying we are going to see about trying it either way, because we just want, we'll see if we can
unload the overhead.
This thing. Yeah,
right. I mean, that's a heck of an overhead.
It is.
Yeah, the overhead I have read was really high.
Yeah, it's
there's a big
crazy
balloon. I don't want to get into all that. But
and that's due next year. So
hopefully
fun times. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be.
Don't they share offices at MCRC too?
Yes, AZGOP has office space at the MCRC.
Right. So that's good if they can get rid of that and then just stay at the nice building in Chandler.
There's plenty of room for sure.
Yeah.
So that's
all you have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about it. I wanted to make sure I thanked everybody and just.
At what point during the meeting did you say, "Okay, I pulled it off. Like, I can relax for the rest of the meeting now"?
After the chair election.
Okay. After that,
I felt much better.
Because Swoboda won, or because that big part was over?
Well, both. Mm-hmm. Both were, and what you all didn't know is that the actual presentation that you saw on the screen.
That I was very impressed with. country western thing.
And then there's music thrown in there, and we had country music, and then we had the various slides.
Chairs, PowerPoint, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that basically was done that morning.
Are you serious?
Wow. That is
Who pulled that off?
I'm not going to say.
You don't want to say?
Well, I was up at 4 a.m, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had some of it put together, but a lot of it we switched it around last minute, and fortunately I had some of that music set aside. I said, if we need this, my guys there were ready to launch
Cue
it up and all that. So
I think that was fantastic. The country western.
That was a really good.
It made me like Hands Across America. How all the stars came together.
Yes.
You got all the country western people. There were anybody.
Wasn't that a great song? I loved that
song.
song.
I loved it. It was like
it really was.
I was like really impressed with that because I love country music, but to see that all put together like that was fantastic. It reminded me of Hands Across America.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That way, years back there, where all the stars came together. This one, they all came together, but they're all country western and a few non-country westerns. But it was like everything.
I'm just floored that that was so seamless, because I wouldn't have thought that it was, that you were working on it that morning.
Minute, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was pretty seamless.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
The,
it flowed well.
The very
flowed
first
well.
country song, which was what's the guy's name? Cottle the very first one. In any case, the ball I went to in Washington D.C., he was the featured artist.
Oh, cool.
So it was, and I didn't know that, and I had already selected that song for the GOP meeting, and then here I go to the ball, and I go, this is the guy that I selected.
Yeah.
So part of our group went up to him and said, you're going to be a featured song at the Arizona GOP meeting. And he goes, wow, that's really cool. He's all excited.
That's cool. That
Yeah,
the
but it
stars
turned out
aligned
so
there.
nice.
There you go.
Everybody around me was like really into it too. It was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
It sets the tone. I think, some good presentation, well timed, sets the tone.
Yeah.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also liked during lunch when they aired Chair Swoboda's, like, her commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were like some in Spanish, or like they were
Navajo,
talking to
yeah.
the Navajo, whatever. Was that a radio ad, or was that?
Yeah, it was radio.
But it was very, very cool, because like she said, she wanted these things to be done, and they hadn't been done in the past. And you know what? When you're in chair, you can say, hey, this is where we're going to spend some of that money. So.
Right. And that's the Trump mentality. Go after every vote.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anybody go. You gotta have a message for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she left no stone unturned, which was impressive.
Yep.
Yep.
I had one other video I wanted to play, but probably wouldn't have been appropriate, and that was the video from the Turning Point event at AmFest, and that was Trump endorsing
Swoboda.
That probably would have. Corey wouldn't have appreciated that.
We could have shown it after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I was sitting at home watching that, and when Trump endorsed her, I'm like, yes, because Gina hadn't committed until then, right? She hadn't said like publicly,
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure she was going to run, but she
hadn't put it on social media before that. I know that.
Right. So
yeah, that was very exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
I was really happy for her. And I mean,
that's a big moment.
Getting a shout out from the president, and then him saying like, "Are you going to run? Because I'm here, ready to back you." You know.
Yep.
And unlike,
I heard her yelling from the audience, "Yeah!"
And like I know he said like that he was going to support KTR, but he did not say that he endorsed her.
He didn't. That's right.
Where he specifically said like, "Are you running? Is Gina Swoboda running for chair? Like, I support her." And then when she said yes, he said, "I endorse you."
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that was
that
was a big because he said I support you, and then he said he followed it up with I endorse you. So that's definitely, so I feel, that what he said about KTR should not stop Biggs or anyone else from trying to get an actual endorsement from President Trump. Yeah. Whoever's. Have we heard of anyone else jumping in that governor's race?
I think Scott Neely.
I was going to say Scott Neely. I know.
He's jumped in again. But
what about Kimberly Yee?
So I
she
heard
ran
her
last-
name. Yeah, I heard her
but
name
she didn't-
mentioned. As a matter of fact, I was talking with her because she's in my LD.
Oh, okay.
And
oh, right. I saw you talk to her.
Yeah, at the meeting, and somebody came up to me after and said, "Oh, is she gonna run for governor?" I'm like, that'd be news to me, but
well, and for the first time though, we're gonna have a lieutenant governor.
yes.
So it's like a vice president. It's not somebody's not running for lieutenant governor. They will be on the ticket with whoever is running for governor.
Yeah, right.
So you can't like get a split ticket of like a Dem lieutenant and a Republican governor. It's not going to be like that.
Right.
So we need to know. Is Andy gonna tap someone? Is someone gonna go to him? Like, would it be Kimberly Yee? I feel like that,
Well, we
seems
got
like
2
that would be
minutes.
phantasmic
Yeah.
for him.
We got 2 minutes. Do you want to give any closing remarks before we close out the show?
I looking forward to what Gina will do, and there's such an incredible group of folks like Mark that have been elected, and if they all work together, she sets the objectives. There's a team that will back her and see that
100%.
things get done.
Yep.
And not that wasn't there before. I don't know what was there before, but I know what was coming, and I know these people will back her and help her get things done.
But I just want to thank you for having us today. It's always nice to be on a podcast. I love doing them, and
you have your own podcast.
we do at work. It's called Gruber Wired, and
Google Wired.
Gruber Wired. Yep, and we so it's more in the business of what we're in, but I do inject a lot of politics into it. We had Bat Evans on there. We've done
Love
some different things. So you never get a show without me saying something about politics.
And we got to remind our listeners that if you're a PC, if you're a Republican, a conservative, we're going to come out strong this year.
Yep.
We're going to go out and we're going to knock on doors. We're going to get independents to switch over to Republicans. We're going to fight hard because the Democrats are going to fight hard. We have 2 years to build up a momentum, and you guys, I know, are going to do it, and I know Cheryl is going to do it. You both are MALs, members at large for the party, and you're a party member. So we need to all get together and knock on doors and go out and let the people know that we're behind Trump and we're behind his agenda, and we have to get people elected in 2026.
Amen.
Yeah.
So,
Amen to that.
And thank you for coming. And
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys for being on the show, and it was great to rehash and remember a little bit before we, like George said, jump into what we need to do for next year, which is recruit, register those voters.
Time goes
Yeah,
fast, so
so
know that we
fast.
got no.
And when do
we
I
just need
get
to
the
do it.
chips and salsa?
As soon as you can have some now. I'm not eating until we're done because I'm gonna spill it. But yeah, it looks like next week we're definitely gonna have one of the TARs here to talk about the raffle. Some of you guys might have been hit up for raffle tickets at one of the state meetings or the county meetings, and we'll see what else we have in store. I know the 2A rally's coming up. The March for Life is coming up. So we've got plenty of things to keep us busy. And I think that's about it.
This Saturday, there's a veterans get-together in Glendale, and it's what's his name, Roger, who was elected the chaplain of the GOP. He told me to remind everybody it's this Saturday at around 10 o'clock. So in Glendale, so just Google it. It's a veterans get-together. So if you're not doing nothing Saturday, go to Glendale, be part of that, show your love for the veterans.
And if you go to the Levine Parade, look for me and the kids because we're going to be in the parade. We're very excited about that. And if you would like to support us from home, you can always like, comment, share this video because that always helps us out. Thank you. See you guys next time.